What is up, everybody? Shwazy here, and I am extremely excited because the vehicle behind me is the 2024 S580. Mercedes just dropped this off last night, and in today's video I wanted to give you my first initial reactions, impressions, and a quick exterior interior walk around of this incredible machine. Now, if you guys want all the nitty-gritty, all of the specifics, well, that's going to be a much longer video coming to you shortly. That's going to be my in-depth car review. Today is kind of like the spark notes, kind of the quick facts that you should know about. You're going to want to check this out because this car is incredible. Okay, so let's start off with the exterior styling and do a quick exterior walk around. Starting off with the front end, you got LED daytime running lights and LED headlights. That's pretty common nowadays, so nothing too crazy there. But I do want to point out the styling here. This is more conservative, I would say, as compared to some of its counterparts like the BMW 7 Series and the Audi A8. I think this is more similar to the A8, whereas the 7 Series kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. It's a little bit of a different styling. Personally, I like the look of the 7 Series, but not everybody does. This is more of an evolution of the prior generation design. It still has a muscular front end with that big grille. This actually is fake over here because this is where your driving sensors are. This, of course, is where your real grille is, and then you have active shutters down at the bottom along with your parking sensors. Typical Mercedes emblem over here that kind of just looks luxurious from the outside. It gives you that luxurious feel all throughout, and I think the styling in general is upscale luxury. It's got a little bit of muscular lines to it with some of these body lines and the hood bulge, but for the most part, it's a very streamlined design. Now, coming across the side of the vehicle, let's take a look at the profile here. It's a pretty long car, which is to be expected. I mean, this is longer than pretty much any three-row crossover. It's more of like a full-size SUV. Now, talking about these wheels, these are the 20-inch multi-spoke design, and depending on what trim level you get, you're going to get a different design for these. And moving further backwards, I do like the chrome accents here, although you can get like an AMG dark package or midnight package, and that's going to black out a lot of these chrome accents, but I think it matches this luxurious vehicle. Now, as we're back here, I do want to mention that this particular vehicle comes with the optional rear wheel steering, and it provides upwards of 10 degrees of opposite angle to the front wheels, gives you a much tighter turning radius, whereas on the highway it'll actually turn at the same direction as the front tires, up to 3 degrees to give you better maneuverability at higher speeds. This also has the air suspension system, so it'll automatically adapt and read the road and make adjustments as a result of what's going on the road surface. Coming across the rear end, this is probably where it's the most different from the prior generations, where you have these triangular lights that are more horizontal than they are vertical. So that's kind of a little bit different. They are LED taillights in the back. This is, of course, the 4MATIC, which means all-wheel drive. And then you've got your rear exhaust ports over here as well. And we'll talk about powertrain here in just a minute, but I do want to show off the S580 badge. There's 3 different trim levels you can get, and currently this one is the highest trim level. The S63 will be coming out later this year, but so far pricing and some of the details haven't been announced or finalized yet. All right, jumping underneath the hood of the Mercedes S-Class. Now, you do have to pull on the hood latch twice. That's something that I learned kind of the hard way. So what we have here, it's a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 engine. Produces just shy of 500 horsepower, a little over 500 pound-feet of torque, just around 516. And this thing will do 0 to 60 in just about 4.4 seconds. Now, Car and Driver, I think, has got it as low as 3.9. And I'll be honest, just driving this car for about 20 minutes total, and the entire time I have had it in my possession, this thing feels quick. It's a very smooth and linear acceleration, and kind of almost feels like an electric vehicle, but you still get that V8 sound, that V8 torque. Now, this is also paired with that mild hybrid system that I've talked about in other Mercedes products. It's a small battery, it's an integrated starter motor, and so it runs your water pump, your air conditioning, a lot of the other things that typically you'd have a serpentine belt for. That's been replaced with an electric motor. So this is technically a hybrid engine, but fuel economy is not so much like a hybrid, but it's not bad. You're getting about 21 combined mpg. For a V8 4-liter twin turbo, that's really pretty good. Now, in real life, when you're hammering on the gas, I don't know if it's really going to get 21 combined. Of course, you have a 9-speed automatic transmission. Mercedes has been using that for years. But now that we're done talking about the outside, which is pretty good, I think the inside is what knocks this vehicle out of the ballpark. Let's jump inside and show you some of the features. Now, as we jump inside, I do want to point out this paint color. I personally don't love gray, but this is a very beautiful color. It's called Selenite Gray Metallic, and under the sun, it really does shine. But I kind of like some of the other colors that Mercedes offers. But jumping inside, these retractable door handles, this is where the beauty really begins, in my opinion. You've got this carmine red interior. You've got a mixture of black, aluminum. We're going to talk about all of that here in just a second. Starting off with the door panel, soft touch materials all up top, which is to be expected. This is actually like an LED ambient lighting screen or light. It's really interesting. It's a little bit different than all the other ambient lighting that I've seen in Mercedes products. I think this is kind of the next generation. This entire thing pretty much just lights up at night, and I'll show you what that looks like when we jump inside. You've got some nice quilted material on the door panel, typical aluminum switches for your Mercedes products, heated, ventilated seats. You can control the passenger side, three-way memory, along with all your window switches, which are nice aluminum, feel really nice in the hands. You've also got sunshades here, and then moving further back, a little bit more of that soft touch material. I love this red interior color. Now, taking a look at these speakers, this is the Burmester sound system, and my particular vehicle has the upgraded system. I believe there's like somewhere near 30 speakers on the inside of this car, which is insane. This will also actually spin out. These tweeters will spin out when they're activated, when the sound system is on, and it looks really good. Also, take a look. You got this natural wood grain material along with aluminum pinstriping in between, and it's just gorgeous. Now let's jump inside and talk about these seats. Also quilted leather, and you've even got this pillow over here. It's like a suede material. Incredible. Couple things to point out here. Heated and ventilated seats, that's standard. These are also massaging seats. And furthermore, there's a couple more things I want to point out. You do have active side bolstering. So what that means is when you're taking a corner, you can activate a feature where it'll actually use this side bolster to inflate and keep you centered in your seat. I've gotten more used to it over the 20 minutes of driving. It actually helps a lot because this seat is pretty wide, and so for a smaller frame person, the side bolstering helps a lot there as well. Also, with this upgraded sound system that I have on my particular vehicle, this thing has 4D surround sound, and what that is it will actually vibrate the seat and almost make you feel the bass from your butt, because this will actually vibrate the entire seat with the bass of the music that you're playing. So really cool features there. Now let's climb inside, show off what's going on here, and let's close the door. And before we move away, I want to point out this does have soft closed doors, which is pretty standard now in the industry, especially for vehicles of this price point. I do want to point out these materials, like over here and over here in the center arm console, this is a heated material. So you do have heat touch surfaces throughout the interior. That's obviously not standard, but it is very welcomed in cold climates, especially a day like today where it's very windy and very cold. So let me turn this vehicle on, and you'll find some of this stuff very familiar or very similar to other vehicles I've reviewed. So first off, heated steering wheel. Left-hand side is your cruise control settings and how you'll control this 12.3-inch display. On the right-hand side is your phone settings, audio settings, and how you'll control this screen. Now, first I want to point out something that I haven't seen on other Mercedes products that I've reviewed with this exact same software, and that is this 3D mode button. So you click this button in the top corner, and it's going to be very hard to show on camera. It's honestly kind of hard to see in person, but the 3D display of this screen just turned on. You don't need 3D glasses, which is crazy, but this thing will actually kind of look like it's popping out. Now, I've shown off this screen in other reviews, but you hit the home button on the steering wheel, it's haptic feedback control, and you've got a bunch of different themes that you can go through. And this is your gear selector over here, you've got your paddle shifters, and then this is your windshield wiper stock. Now, to the left of the steering wheel, you've got these cool vents along with that wood accent over here. This is all, of course, soft touch material. Your vent stack is over here, and then on the passenger side, I do want to point out, again, this just looks so timeless. So as you may be able to see, this is what I was talking about. You have this ambient lighting strip, and it's different than all the other Mercedes products because usually it's like an LED strip located underneath the trim pieces, whereas this is pretty much just like an LED light or a screen that lights up, and at night it's beautiful. I'm gonna throw up a photo of the interior lighting that I took last night. Looks gorgeous, and of course this has the same 64 different color ambient lighting. You can also adjust to different themes, and so it'll change while you're driving, and this side will look different than the driver's side. So you do have piano black plastic here, which some people hate, but let's talk about this screen over here. So this is a 12.8-inch OLED display. Software here is identical to what I showed off in the Mercedes EQE SUV. It's their electric vehicle. This is all the modern software Mercedes uses, and it's very snappy. So you can swipe up to open up certain features. Android Auto is very easy to use. You just click on it in the corner. It is wireless. This comfort setting over here in the corner is how you'll activate your massaging seats, and boy, is there a lot of different massaging functions. There's even like a workout feature where you're gonna have to push into the seat back to get a little bit of a workout or a little bit of a deeper tissue massage. You can adjust all your side bolstering here, all the heating settings. And then this is something that I saw for the first time in the EQE AMG I reviewed, which is energizing comfort. And when you activate this, it pretty much takes over the screen. It will not only show you this cool design, which is even cooler when you have the hyper screen, but it will also, you know, change the climate. It'll turn on the ventilated seats. It kind of has this calming effect. Kind of a new thing that some vehicles are doing. I will point out, I kind of mentioned it, there is no hyperscreen here. That's not an option on this S580, but you really don't need it because you have this classy wood. These are some haptic feedback controls for your drive modes. You do have a 360-degree camera here with, if my camera will focus, this 3D view from the outside. This is something I've shown off in a lot of vehicles. And then you do have a fingerprint reader down here. This is something a lot more cars are starting to integrate. And then you've got your volume slider over here as well. Opening this little compartment up, you do have a wireless charging pad located back there, and it seems to charge pretty quickly. You've also got 2 USB ports, 2 cup holders, little compartment over here. I do like that they've even added aluminum in this section. Like I said, this is a heated surface. Opening this up, it's very shallow, which is unfortunate. You do have a 2 USB ports. Up above you, one thing I will complain about, there's no digital rear view camera mirror. That's not even an option, which is something that Mercedes really needs to start putting in. Now, if you swipe this open, you will open up your panoramic sunroof. This opens up halfway, and then this one will actually open, whereas this is a fixed glass pane roof on the back, but you also have a sunshade back there as well. And you can regulate it using the switches over here. These are touch sensitive controls. You got your lighting functionality, and then more ambient lighting located around this strip. This is also a suede headliner, which is really nice. All right, jumping into the second row, which is the part I'm most excited about. And if you happen to be a rear passenger in an S580 with this executive seating package, you're a very lucky person. So let's talk about it. Soft touch material here, more quilted leather, more of that wood. Very similar design to the front row. Beautiful Burmester sound system here and here. Now let's take a look at these seats. They don't look, you know, anything out of the ordinary, but just wait. All right, so you do have that pillow cushion over here, that suede material. Still very beautiful seat cushions. You also have light up seatbelt buckles so that, you know, you don't search for it at night. You know, you can easily find that, because I didn't think that was a problem. Now, talking about legroom here, about 42, 43 inches or so, just massive. Also, this one has the entertainment package where you have these dual, I believe 12.3 inch screens over here. You got some more of that wood material with that pinstriping. Just gorgeous, but there's so much more to talk about. So let's climb inside. First off, seats are very comfortable, and you do have soft closed doors in the second row, which is to be expected. A little bit more of that ambient lighting over here. Design-wise, they knocked it out of the park. Now, a couple things to point out. First off, you do have sunshades over here, automatic sunshades that roll up, and in typical Mercedes S-Class fashion, you also have a sunshade for the rear windshield as well. That opens up, and then there's another button located over here on the door panel that you can use to close up this sunshade up above you. All right, so before we jump to these screens, I do want to show off your controls over here. You do have 4-zone climate control, heated seats in the back, and you can regulate where the airflow is going. Now, below this section, you do have this little flap over here that opens up to reveal your 2 USB ports and some HDMI ports. And let's jump to this screen. So this is very similar software to what you have in the first row. You can actually even regulate the same ambient lighting that you could in the first row as well. And you can also regulate different rear lighting. So you can turn this on, and you can actually turn on like a work light, similar to what you would do on an airplane, really. But I do want to point out the fact that this second row also has massaging seats. So you can turn on a variety of different massaging seats in the second row. Now, that's obviously not standard. This has the additional second row packages, which I'll talk about in the full review. There's even more functionality. So you can pull down the center armrest, and voila, reveals another screen over here. So you can use this screen very similar to what you'd use over here or in the first row, but you can even pop it out. So you push that button, this tablet pops out. I think it's an Android-based tablet, and you can use it to regulate a variety of functions. That way you don't actually have to reach towards the screen. You can simply use this little tablet over here to do the same functionality. And you can slide this back in here, and it automatically locks up, and you can turn it on and off using the button over here. Opening this up, you do have a small compartment and another wireless charger for the second row with 2 USB ports. Also pretty shallow, but you don't really need that much space. I love this wood pinstriping. Opening this up, sometimes the cup holders get jammed. You do have cup holders over here. And then I want to point out an even cooler feature that's specific to the passenger side. So sorry, driver side, you don't get this functionality, but check this out. If I push this button over here on the door, It starts moving the front seat, which we've seen in other vehicles, but it goes even further. This has the extended recline package, so it'll recline upwards of 43 degrees. As you see, it starts kicking out this little footrest, and you can obviously turn on massaging seats here as well. And then once this is at its final position, then you have another further little footrest that kicks out over there. And I'll be the first to say I sat in this last night and I almost fell asleep back here. It's really incredible. I mean, take a look at that interior. So much to talk about back here, so stay tuned for the full review, but let's jump out and finish off my first impression interior exterior walk around. I do want to point out the trunk, so it is electronically operated, of course, and pretty good amount of space back here. It's a little bit narrow because this is all taken up by the subwoofer and the control for the trunk release. You do have a little pass-through over there for skis or whatnot, and then underneath you do have a little bit of space over here as well where you could store some random items. Other than that, not much else to report aside from a cigarette style power outlet over here, and everything is lined in felt, which is to be expected. And you push that button and it closes right up. All right, well, there you have it, folks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this somewhat quick. I'm sure it's still like 15 minutes long. Exterior interior walk around. There's so much to talk about here. I'm gonna try to dive into all of it in my comprehensive review, but let me know what you guys want to know about this vehicle. I'm gonna have it for about a week. I'm gonna post a lot of videos about it, so hopefully by the time you're seeing this video, I still have it in my possession and I can answer any questions you have. But Mercedes really does knock it out of the park with this car, and I'm excited to review it and test out all the features. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all of the weekly car reviews, everything from my Dodge Challenger Hellcat to Mercedes S580s. Also check me out on all the social media at Schwazy_. Until next time, everybody, I hope you stay Schwazy, stay healthy, have a wonderful day.